Good day and welcome. Matthew here again, Manufacturers event round 8. I believe we're up to Nurburgring Group 3 in the Ferrari back again. So this was a tough race for me. There was very little tyre wear and very little fuel burn, so it was just raw pace. And with the recent changes to the balance of the Ferrari, it's taken away some weight but also taken away some power, which means it's a better handling car but lacks the get up and go it used to have. It suffers a bit more at this track now. This track is very stop-start, with especially the first sector. You know, very heavy braking zones and very hard accelerating zones, so the Ferrari does lack a bit what it used to. So starting 9th, I pick up 2 places almost immediately with that incident from Dino's and Conzio. So we'll jump back and follow Dino's, who had a really rough go at it early on. So on board with Dino's as we head into turn 1. He does miss his braking point, so he does go too deep in here. Takes evasive action to avoid side-dog, which was very good to see, which ultimately costs him a place or two, actually 2 places. Lost out to Kinemos and Bass, and Holland is right behind him. Holland decides to throw it up the inside here from a long way back and just pushes him wide. So Dino's loses another place. And then trying to get on the power, gets on the slippery stuff, gets it sideways, and Conzio is unfortunately the victim. Had nowhere to go. Dino spun into him. Conzio in the process knocks Dino's off the track, and Conzio picks up a 4-second penalty or something. So really just ruined both their races within the first 30 seconds or so. Really unlucky from Dino's, because he showed good pace and good promise qualifying so far up the field. So that put me about a 1.5 seconds behind Holland. So I really had to chase that down. Now my Ferrari, it didn't have the raw pace, but it had decent tyre wear. The rears go away at laps 7 and 8, so it becomes a bit tricky to control, but front tyre wear is very good, and it can maintain quartering speed right through the race. So that was what I was relying on. I was relying on the front engine cars like these guys to slow down a bit with front tyre wear, and myself to be able to slowly claw back the difference. But because my race was kind of 6 or 7 laps of struggling to try to catch this group, I was going to show you a bit more of the story of the race. So the real story, or the real surprise, was Huser up in 2nd place. He qualified 2nd in the Subaru. The Subaru seemed to go excellent around this track, and mostly because that car has got is the best under brakes out of all the Group 3 cars. It can brake so late into the corners, and because this track is so stop-start, it does it very well. So yeah, it lacks a bit on the straights, or especially the longer straights, but the straights aren't that long. It has decent enough pull from the corners and can stop, brake very late and stop at the apex where it needs to. So Huser grabs 2nd place in the qualifying and is now holding up, as you can see, Sydog, Bass, Holland and Kinemos, who are all very quick drivers on any given day of the week. And Huser, who's only appeared recently, I'm not sure if he's somebody who's raced with before and has changed his name, because you can change your name on PlayStation Network now, or if he's just a new driver from another game and he started racing here. But he puts up a heck of a fight and does a good job holding Sydog off for most of the race. But it was because of this battle, and because Huser was the cork in the bottle, that these guys are battling, and I'm slowly gaining on 6th place, which is Kinemos. So you can see finally at the end of lap 7, I'm about a second away from Kinemos. Adam, who was slowly catching me, he was about 3 seconds at the end of lap 1 behind me. He's slowly caught me up and has finally gotten into my draft, I think, over the past lap. And now it starts to all go off as we get into the last lap. Sydog gets a little bit squirrely through the chicane and quickly gets shuffled back from what was 3rd into now 6th position. And I see this and I'm within a second now. I think I'm half a second or so, and this is looking very good. Adam goes very deep in the brakes into turn 1, hangs around the outside, has a position for the inside of this corner. So I'm trying to avoid the cars ahead while trying to defend against Adam. He sticks his car there, which is a real pain. I give him the room, and he gives me the room, so it was really good racing. Sardog gets shuffled out wide. I thought I had the better of him here, but the Ford with the more grunt goes up the left-hand side of me. And I thought this was him for sure. He just scythed in front of me here. But I hang around the outside, I maintain my position, and he finally gives up, tries to go for a better drive out of this corner and doesn't quite get it. Gets a little bit sideways on that curb. I'm in Sardog's draft, so I've got a little bit of protection, a little bit more straight line speed. And now I can concentrate on trying to get Sardog over the remainder of this lap. So just going to go back and watch Adam's moves around the outside of me. What a gaggle of cars. It's kind of nuts to see the top sort of, you know, 2nd through 8th, all within a second of each other. But Adam does a really good job braking late and going around the outside of me. Pushes me a bit wide to give himself some room, which is fine. He holds around the inside. I guess that's the great thing about the arena sections, that if you're hung around the outside, you're eventually going to find yourself on the inside because it's so left, right, and you end up with good battles like this. That Ford has so much power in a straight line. I didn't think he had as good of a run off that corner as I did, but he still manages to pull ahead. I thought he'd have me here for sure. I hold him tight around there, and I eventually take that position back. But that was really good driving from Adam. So coming down to the final main straight, it was all about getting a good drive out of that corner and being able to attack Si into the chicane. There's always a difficult place to overtake. It's very easy to defend. He doesn't really go defend it, but he does go very deep on the brakes. And I was like, right, I can get a good run out of here. I get the power down, and I give him a tap. So dumb. So dumb. And I've looked back at that so many times to figure out what exactly happened, and I'm not even sure still. So we'll jump back and I'll show you. But ultimately that's where I end up. I gain the place of Sardog, I lose the place to Adam, I end up 7th. So here it is again, even though you could just skip back on YouTube and watch it. I'm not even accelerating at the time. I think he's just slow off the second part of the chicane, and he's unstable, and my tap pitches him round. The second tap isn't really anything. I'd already done the damage. I have no idea why I didn't get a penalty for that. That's full on, you know, I tapped him off. I should have got a penalty. I don't know why I didn't. Not that it would change much, but I don't know why I didn't. Now just looking at the replay view of this, it shows a different sort of perspective. It almost looks like Adam bumps me into him, but I don't think he quite does. Or if he does, there's a bit of lag or something. You see the way the car sort of bounced through there? I'll just jump back and show it again. So here it is again. Just watch my car and the movement between Adam and me, and then me and Sardog, there and there. So I wonder if that's why I never picked up a penalty. It's because the game picked it up as Adam hitting me initially, and therefore not penalising me. But it seems strange. It seems really strange. And I am sorry, Sardog. I have apologised to you already, but I am sorry. I did not intend for that to happen. So that was it. Quite a interesting race, although I guess for 7 out of the 8 laps not a lot happened. You know, we had the incident early on, and then I spent 6 or 7 laps trying to catch the pack in front of me. And so it wasn't sort of action-packed, but it was really intense. And the Ferrari, I knew, became really tricky at the end. So it was trying to go as fast as I can while maintaining my rear tyres. So when it came to lap 7 or 8, I wasn't fighting with the car, and I could just concentrate on battling whoever I was with, which turns out to be, well, just about everybody, didn't it? So yeah, kind of nuts. Really good driving. Unfortunate with the end with Sardog. Luckily enough, I guess, for both of us, was that this round didn't count, isn't going to count towards, like, we weren't in any position to count our points towards our manufacturer's totals. So, like, if we're going to have an incident together, it may as well be when, you know, it's not going to count for anything, you know. But I do apologise. Looking back, you know, I think Adam may have had a hand in that. Nothing deliberate, entirely racing instant, and a bit of lag between all of us, or a bit of latency really. Just the game not picking up exactly where our cars were at the time and causing bumps. But unfortunate to end that way, because it was some really good driving up until that point, and really intense races between, you know, effectively the top 8. Makosi, who qualified first, just shot off into the lead. Huzo, who qualified second, was really the bottle in the bottle in the cork in the bottle for all these guys, and really made this sort of happen all at the end. So quite a cool race. I certainly enjoyed it. It was really tough driving, but you get those races and you take away from it and you learn from it. So certainly not wasted in any way. So that's it. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a like and a subscribe if you want to see these races live. Follow me on Twitch. The links are in the description below. But until next time, thank you, and bye-bye like Sidon. Bye-bye.